Hi guys, everybody. Hi everybody, welcome back to the Rebel Chumps channel. Finally got my hands on these two babies. I'm gonna do part 2 of the Saberforge Apprentice Hills line. Why I like them so much. So I got lined up on the left, we got the Bastion, and on the right we have the Oracle. Definitely a different in size, so that's a nice full range of different sizes by Saberforge. There are now 6 or 8 different apprentice hilts with different lengths, different sizes, but the main part is the OD, the thickness of the hilt remains the same, and I really love that thickness. It's actually very close to the thickness of the Vader's Vault combat class. It's slightly thicker, it's like ever slightly thicker, but everybody praises Vader's Vault because of the combat class, because of their streamlined hilt, the thickness of the body of the hilt. Very comfortable for heavy dueling or just dueling in general and handling the saber. I really love this OD. It's a very comfortable OD to hold on to. It's definitely not as thick as a Saberforge Elite line, or even bigger, the Ultra Sabers lightsaber line in general, where most of the hilts are quite chunky and thick. The reason why the hilts are so thick is because Ultra Sabers copied the MAS system directly from the custom saber shop, and those ODs are slightly thicker, bigger hilts, because they allow people like myself to install electronics ourselves while having a little bit more room inside the hilt to make it a little bit more easy to achieve that. With these hilts, because they're thinner and smaller, it's more of a cram full. Not really cram full, but it's harder to get all the parts in the battery holder with the soundboard, etc. It's just barely fits in there, and that is a little bit more tricky to install. But to handle a hilt like this, it's much more comfortable. I prefer these over certain elite sabers from Saberforge, just because how they feel my hand. They feel comfortable. They feel like I can grip my hand firmly around the hilt. It feels really nice and streamlined, and that's why I like these apprentice hilts so much. The price point very decent, $75 for an empty hilt. Some come with a leather wrap, for example. In this model, the Oracle comes with a leather wrap, and actually they're all very different and unique in design. Very unique design. They come with a cover tech wheel. They come with 2 control box holes, so you can install 2 switches, or 1 switch and a tactile switch, or 1 switch and a recharge port. It's all up to you. You have 2 ports available, so you have a little bit more flexibility. And it also has 2 holes, 1 retention hole for the blade and 1 for the LED. And this one is the reason why I don't buy much Ultra Sabers hilts, because most of the hilts don't have this, and this is a must for me. The LED must be fixed inside the hilt. I think it's a very poor and cheap design to buy a hilt for $100 or more, where they did not spend $1-2 in the factory to drill a hole, tap it, and put a retention screw in there, because that LED unit will rattle inside the hilt. If you have, like in this sample, have a straight connection from the LED location to the switches, that LED unit, when the blade tip is impacted vertically, that blade will shift inside the blade holder on top of the LED unit, which then on the stern hit the switch, a latching switch or momentary switch, in the inside part here, where you have the screw wire of the switch section. And if it's a plastic guarded switch, which often is with Ultra Sabers, those switches break because of that issue, because the LED unit is just free floating. I just don't like the design. It's personal gripe. So if Ultra Sabers would fix that and introduce these retention screws for LED units, I will definitely buy a lot more Ultra Saber hilts. But since they don't do it, I refrain from that. Furthermore, Saberforge has several options of the hilts. So you have the all You have the standard finish, you have the V2 finish. I like the V2 finish because the weathering gives a little bit more grip on my sweaty hands. It feels a little bit more comfortable. Plus, all smooth finish is very slippery, and it scratches easy, and those scratches are more visible than with a all weathered version. And of course, the weathered version is is a cup of tea tasting. This is not really weathering in my eyes. This is just wearing the paint down on a latte like this till you get all these grooves here. But to me, it works. It works. It's fine. I'm okay with that. And the weight of these hilts is very nice too. They're quite light actually. Most of them are single piece hilts, besides the pommel of course. And overall, yeah, very cool, different design, very unique, very different. And in terms of the OD, the thickness of the hilt, it's actually very close to the Vadersvold combat class. And the Vadersvold combat class is praised because of the OD of their hilts, the thinness, how comfortable it feels to have a hilt that is such so streamlined and dedicated for heavy dueling. And that made a lot of people actually go for the combat class from Vadersvold, and that's why I like the I like the Saberforge apprentice hilt so much, because they have nearly the identical OD. They're slightly thicker though, slightly ever so thicker, but it's just very minimalistic in terms of more thickness. But overall, they feel so comfortable in the hand to me. More comfortable than several of the Saberforge Elite Sabers, because the slightly added thickness really bothers me with certain hilts. And with these hilts, it's just fantastic. As I said, every Saberforge Apprentice hilt is unique in design. Totally unique. $75 fixed price for all of them. Same price, but you can have different options. This one comes with a little grip, for example, null texture, different emitter. In this case, it has a KR Saber's blade block. Very nice, by the way. I think that was a good match with this emitter's design. But they're all very unique and very different, and they handle different, and they have different lengths. But the important thing is the OD is the same, and they're single piece, and they're set at the price point of $75, no matter which model of the Apprentice Sabers you buy. And I thought that's very cool and unique. So again, I really recommend these Saberforge Apprentice Sabers if you want to do electronics yourself. I think this is a very good, affordable alternative, because a lot of the empty hilts starting around $100 US. That might be KR Sabers, and that might be other brands. Now, as I said, Ultra Sabers is in the same price range or cheaper than Saberforge, but they don't have that LED retention screw. The empty hilts are by default for $30. Let's say you can buy an empty hilt from Ultra Sabers. They're not vented by sound by default. They don't have a cover tech wheel. So once you add those parts together, it will add up pretty soon, and then you end up to something similar in the price range as a Saberforge, and then you still have only one hole for the switch and no LED retention screw. So I did this for me an added value, because I cannot work metals. I don't have these tools here, so I need something that is already done for me. The hilt must be done. I can do the electronics myself, but these kind of stuff I cannot. And that's why I keep coming back to Saberforge, because they offer me this. And they have a slightly cheaper alternative. There are a slightly cheaper alternative to some other manufacturers that have empty hilts. Now, of course, the quality is of course maybe a little bit less. They maybe has some sharp edges, or they maybe need a little bit of work with some sandpaper, but nothing else to that. They're still very strong and durable, and they definitely hold up very well with heavy dueling. So you can definitely go all out with these sabers. And to me, I like to buy them because they give so much variation in terms of hilt designs and whatnot for affordable price. So I hope you like this video. I highly recommend picking up at least one Saberforge Apprentice Saber. There's always something that you will like in their designs, and I hope you liked it, and hopefully see you in the next video. Stay scummy!